Hi, I'm Jess,
Hi, I'm Kristen.
and this is ReDIScover, a conversation where we travel through everything that makes up the essence of who we are and how to live authentically and imaginatively.
Here, we invite you to join us as we explore and discuss a little bit of, well, everything.
From Disney to cultivating your most authentic life to deepening your relationships and talking about the real stuff.
We hope you'll find this a space that speaks to you, encourages you, and brings a little bit of magic into your day.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jess.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
And welcome back to this week's episode of ReDIScover. We are continuing our wonderful travel month. We are traveling all over the place, all over the world. However, we wanted to roll back to our roots today and talk about a topic that has been very highly requested, and I also think very relevant to our theme of the month. Today on ReDIScover, we are going to talk about going to Disney, of course, but more in a travel sense. So today's episode is going to be focused more on what to pack and bring.
We couldn't really do a travel month without talking about traveling to Disney. And I think the thing about traveling to Disney is it's just so unlike a vacation anywhere else. So there are some things that you will always bring with you when you travel. And then there are some things that are kind of specific to the type of travel experience that is visiting the Disney parks, specifically Walt Disney World here in Florida, because a lot of what we have kind of learned over the years has to do with climate and unpredictable weather and just the nature of the kind of like go, go, go. You know, people always are like, oh, I need a vacation for my Disney vacation because it's not exactly the relaxing on the beach all day, every day with a drink in your hand experience. It can be, but it
You can make it
isn't.
that.
Yeah, it isn't usually. So Jess and I have been traveling to Walt Disney World both separately and together for, over 20 years of our lives. And as adults, kind of learning and sometimes the hard way over time, what to bring and tips along the way. So we figured we would share that knowledge with all of you because from visiting here and both of us having lived here locally, we really got to know the do's and don'ts.
We're going to give you all of our travel packing hacks for Disney specifically. And I think this is a very valuable list to take note of and see if there's anything that you already do and see if there's anything that you could add from our list that would make your next trip even better and more efficient.
Yeah. And some of them I feel like are like so obvious that you're like, oh my gosh, why didn't I ever think of that? Because that's definitely happened to me in the past. And this was a very highly requested episode for a long time now. I think people have been requesting this pretty much since we started doing ReDIScover almost a year ago. So
here it is.
We're excited to dive in. Jess, would you like to start us off with some packing tips?
Yes, I'll take it away. So the first and foremost item that I always pack for a Disney trip is a backpack. I think that the backpack is the best type of bag that you can bring to Disney, to the parks, for many reasons. Number one, I love that it's on your back and you don't have to carry it on your shoulder. It's balanced weight. So if you have a lot of things in your bag, it tends to not hurt as much as if I had like a purse over one shoulder. Additionally, a good backpack has a lot of space. You can find one with a lot of zippers and a lot of pockets. And I tend to choose a backpack that has one big section for like all of the bigger items that I have, and then at least one or two smaller sections, maybe three. If I get lucky, maybe a little water bottle pocket on the outside, something like that. And I think it's just the most convenient thing to bring. So you can fit a ton of stuff in there. You can leave it more empty, whatever works for you. But a lot of the items we're going to mention too, I think having a backpack is the best type of bag to bring to fit all of these items in there in a convenient, efficient way.
That outside pocket is also good for your umbrella because with the way the new Disney security systems work, when you go to the parks, you have to go through a metal detector. And if you have an umbrella in your bag, it will beep and you will have to go then get your bag searched by hand. So to kind of expedite your screening process and make it just so you can walk through and keep on going to scan your ticket and walk into the park, you take your umbrella out and you hold it out in front of you so the security guard can see your umbrella and then know, okay, that's the thing that's causing it to beep. So keeping your umbrella in that little side pocket so you can just like whip it out, walk through the thing, and just keep on walking. I want to begin with something that, once again, like a little extra preparation can save you the annoyance with this one, and it takes up so little space and it's environmentally conscious. So my first thing is a reusable straw and a little like pipe cleaner for it. So if you're not staying in a hotel room or a Disney resort room with like a kitchenette or a kitchen that has like a kitchen sink and some, they'll give you like dish soap and things like that. Maybe bring a little like travel size, like Palmolive or Dawn dish soap with you. And then the little pipe cleaner you can leave in the room, and then just bring the reusable straw to the parks with you in a baggie or like a little case. Because a lot of the straw situations have converted to the paper straw, which is
Most
great.
of them.
Most of them have, which is great, except for it gets really soggy and then you can't drink your drink. And most notably annoying when you're trying to drink like a smoothie or maybe like a frozen cocktail or a coffee drink from Starbucks, and it just like starts to disintegrate and you've only had half your drink and then you can't drink the rest of it, or you have to take the lid off, and it's just one of those things that's unnecessarily annoying. So, spend a couple bucks. So many places sell them now. Most coffee places even sell them for like literally $1 or $2. And you can just put it in like a Ziploc bag and throw it in your backpack. And that way, when you order your Starbucks in the morning or you're having a pina colada at the pool, you can just pull out your little straw. And then when you go back to your room, you can just clean it and let it dry overnight and put it back in your bag the next morning.
Very efficient and very environmental. I like that one. So speaking of the environment, we are going to hop back over and talk a little bit about the Florida weather. So especially if you are in Walt Disney World in the summer, but this could happen, anytime in the year because Florida is quite unpredictable with the weather. There are oftentimes rainstorms. The parks do sell ponchos. You probably see a lot of people walking around in plastic bags with Mickey Mouse on the back with a hood. However, in my opinion, over the years, I have found myself to be so much more comfortable by just bringing my own rain jacket. I've gone to an outlet mall and gotten one from Columbia, like super discounted, and that one's lasted me for years. But you could even go get a really like cheap, lightweight one that takes up barely any room in your backpack. Hence my first point of bringing the backpack. It'll save you time because you won't be waiting in line to get a poncho in the storm. And it's just more comfortable because it is your own jacket. So I highly recommend it, especially if you get trapped in an attraction or a gift shop. These downpours in Florida, if you've ever been there, you know this, but they are not taken lightly. Like you will look like you took a shower. You will be drenched from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible that your sneakers will get soaked.
It's happened to us.
Time and time again.
Yeah.
So I definitely would say bring a rain jacket with you. And in partnership with that, also bring an umbrella. Kristen was talking about that before, to put it in the side pocket of your backpack, but just try to find one that's small and lightweight and you put it in your bag and just bring it. Always bring these two things, even if the weather says that it's not going to rain that day on your app. You never know because it tends to happen every time you forget to bring it. And then every time you do bring it, it might not happen, but at least you were prepared. Rain jacket and umbrella.
Yes, for sure. I truly could not agree with that more. And case in point today was, I was telling Jess before we started recording, supposed to be a totally sunny day, no rain in the forecast at all. And all of a sudden, this giant dark storm cloud rolls in and literally deluges rain for about 45 minutes this afternoon. So you just never know. Florida is a very skinny state. It's a peninsula. There's an ocean on either side. Rainstorms come in and come up from any coast at any given time. If you're looking at your forecast, like the 10-day forecast when you're packing and you're like, oh, it doesn't look like it's supposed to rain. You never know. It can always change. So definitely bring the rain jacket, the umbrella, which leads me to my next thing, particularly to do with the summertime in Florida. It's hot. That's an understatement. It's like
You're gonna be sweating from your kneecaps hot.
you will sweat in places you didn't even know had sweat glands. It's just a very normal thing here. I think both working for Disney and living in Florida have made me very comfortable with the idea of sweat. However, there are things you can do to kind of minimize or mitigate that. You're going to be in the parks. There's going to be people. You're going to be waiting in lines. Sometimes those lines are in the sun, but even in the shade, it's like 95 degrees in the summertime some days. So having a little handheld fan is such a game changer, such a game changer. They're really lightweight. They're usually like plastic or something. They don't take up a lot of space in your bag. I have the tiniest little one that literally plugs into my phone, like where you would plug in your phone charger, and uses your phone battery, and you just hold it up to your face and it just gives you a nice little breeze. My mom has one that I think is like battery operated or rechargeable battery operated or something. I think it's rechargeable battery operated. So she just plugs it in at night in the room and then puts it in her bag in the morning. And it feels like air conditioning from this tiny little fan that's handheld. Just having that when you're standing in like a line and just the air feels so stagnant and humid and like thick, having just a little bit of a breeze truly makes it a much more pleasant experience. So I'd say that's, for me, a non-negotiable in the summertime.
So moving on to the next one, I think this is an item that I've been bringing in my bag since 2013 when I moved down to do my college program at Disney, and that would be a portable charger for your phone.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to bring one with you because number one, you're going to need to communicate with your travel party and you don't want your phone to die. Number two, you're going to be taking pictures and videos most likely on your phone, and that uses up a lot of battery. And number three, if you're waiting in line and you tend to scroll through social medias for entertainment, or you want to edit photos or do anything like that, your phone just tends to die kind of fast when you're at Disney. So make sure to bring a portable charger with you, and keep that in your bag, and make sure to bring the charger for the charger so you can charge it at your hotel room at night. They do have fuel rod stations in the parks. However, I don't personally recommend them because I feel like they die really fast and then you have to go find a machine to replace it frequently. And I just never have really been satisfied with the charge that it holds. So I would recommend looking for one on Amazon or elsewhere and read some reviews. And I would definitely would have one to take with you. And if it's lightweight, that's a bonus, because then that's less weight on your back.
I agree. And I have also been using a portable charger probably since around the same time, pretty much since they became a thing. Jess and I were like, oh, game changer. And
Yes.
it truly is a game changer, especially, yeah, if you're going to be taking a lot of photos or videos on your phone, or, you know, playing like heads up with your family while you're waiting in a long line or something, that will drain your battery. And usually just by reading Amazon reviews, you can find something decent at a pretty decent price point as well.
Yes.
So yeah, I couldn't agree more with that one. We're kind of in the trend of things we keep in our parks bag right now. So I'm going to stay on that road for the moment, but I have a couple of things, you know, to keep in the hotel room that we'll get to.
Which is also important.
Which is also important. So my last thing that you would really want to keep, well, no, not my last thing, but Jess and I have one that's the same. So we're going to get to that in a minute. But my last thing besides that I like to keep in my parks bag is travel sized deodorant. Again, you guys, it's Florida. It's hot. People are sweaty, and you don't want to be the person that someone walks by and goes, oh, that's some BO.
Just being real.
And the thing is, especially like as someone who does try to use more like natural deodorants, it's not that like 24-hour lock and load like the more conventional brands that tend to advertise like 7 straight days of no perspiration. If you do use a natural deodorant, you know that they are not antiperspirants, because sweating is actually a very natural response of your body trying to cool you down. So the not so natural deodorants that prevent you from perspiring, it's not so natural. So if you're a user of natural deodorants, you're going to want to bring some with you to reapply throughout the day, just whenever you take a bathroom break or go to wash your hands or something like that. It's just a quick thing. And they make cute little travel size, like 1 ounce ones. And they fit so easily in your bag. I mean, they would even fit in like your little fanny pack. So I think that that's just a really inexpensive thing that can, again, save you a lot of annoyance as those hot days drag on.
We both love the brand Native as far as natural deodorants go, and they have little like pods. They look like they're little circle deodorants that you can throw. I have one in my purse all the time, and I have one in my backpack for Disney. But even if you aren't using natural deodorants, if you're using regular ones, there are travel size ones.
Yep.
Go to Target or Walgreens and look in the travel section. And I would recommend bringing those either way.
Target and Walgreens and Wegmans, they all have little travel size ones for like $1.
Yeah. And bringing that will just make you a lot more comfortable. And if you're in a rush in the morning trying to get out the door and you happen to forget, it saves your day. So this is going to be more of an obvious one, but one that I need to remind you guys to do because, again, of the sun. Make sure you're bringing sunscreen and sunglasses, because you want to protect your skin and you want to protect your eyes from the UV rays in Florida. Whatever sunscreen works for you, just, try to make sure you're stocked up on that before you come down. I'd recommend getting it at your local Walgreens grocery store, wherever, just so you don't have to pay theme park gift shop prices for that.
True.
And also, as far as sunglasses go, I tend to go for sunglasses that are polarized because those are better for your eyes. In general, I learned that while working at the Sunglass Hut for a few months back in 2016.
Adventureland Jess.
Yes, for a quick stint there. I don't know if y'all remember those days. If you can find polarized glasses, those are what are going to protect your eyes the most. So we want to focus on good sun protection when you're going to Florida. So those are 2 that are definitely on my list.
Yeah. And I think on the sunscreen train, do not forget your face. So whether or not you're a makeup wearer, you can get foundation that has SPF in it. You can get moisturizer that has SPF in it. And don't forget your lips, because your lips can burn and you won't even know it until they start to hurt, or they start to feel kind of like rough in texture, or they start to peel, and that's just like gross and uncomfortable. And you don't want to do that. So throw a lip balm in your bag that has some SPF in it.
We should always be wearing SPF, no matter if you're in Florida or not.
Don't you love how we use every podcast episode as like sort of a way to sneak in some like social justice or life advice or environmental consciousness?
Well, it's good. I think it all ties together, and all the little things that when you take intentional action in other areas of your life, it contributes to the bigger picture. Hey, so
that's my word for 2021. Exactly. You guys remember, intentional. Which leads me to my next thing, Jess. So seamlessly, you have led me there.
Both being intentional,
both about being intentional and protecting your skin. We get this question a lot. I know I get it a lot. I'm sure, Jess, you get it a lot. A lot of people want to know, like, how do you keep your makeup from melting off in Disney? So I'll kind of make this like a 2-for-1. The first thing that I love to do for my skin, not so much for protecting my makeup all day, although it does act as a setting spray for your makeup, just not like a 48-hour shellac, but it will set your makeup and keep it in place. The brand Ren, R-E-N, you can find it at Sephora. I don't know if they have it online. Just now we're having trouble finding it on Sephora's website, but I found it in stores. They make an anti-pollution mist, and it's like a setting spray. You just spray it all over your face. I found it several years ago. I used to work it actually while I was working for Disney. I would wear it every day over my makeup. And just in my daily life, it's an anti-pollution mist that protects your skin from free radicals and from germs and pollutants. So, being in Orlando and in a city, if you're from a more rural area, there's definitely a lot more pollutants in the air than you might be used to. And this is just, I mean, if you're traveling to any city, especially like really, really populated places, this is a great thing to have if you're traveling to New York or Beijing or Shanghai or anywhere.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
Great thing
China.
to have. I was thinking of China because of
Mhm.
the pollution, but I mean, any city, anywhere where
Absolutely.
there's a lot of people and a lot of industry, there's going to be more pollution than if you are in, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So it's a great thing to have for that reason. It also protects your skin from germs and other foreign substances from getting into your pores. If you are somebody who experiences sort of like a different skin reaction when you travel, or your skin kind of breaks out or just gets weird texture and stuff when you travel, this is a great way to help kind of seal in the moisture in your skin and also protect your skin from some of those foreign things that it's like, oh, this is new. We don't usually feel this. What's going on here? And on the plane too, while you're flying, I spray it all over my skin before I leave for the airport, and I feel like it helps. I don't really break out at all on planes anymore. And I used to kind of get like a couple breakouts here and there sometimes because the air is so dry on planes and I have dry skin. So this helps a lot. But as far as keeping your makeup to stay in place, I still think a setting spray is your best friend. When people ask, like, how do you keep your makeup on all day? How do you keep your makeup on? Of course, there are certain products here and there that, work better for some skin than others. But I think as a general rule, no matter what your skin type, definitely a setting spray and also a translucent setting powder before that setting spray are going to be
Mhm.
your best friends for keeping your makeup lasting all day and looking cute in your photos and all that stuff. And I feel like
Classic.
you agree, Jess?
I agree. I would say that my makeup to stay on all day process would be having a good primer, doing
Yes.
some under eye concealer and
Mm-hmm.
baking it with the translucent powder,
Yep.
then putting on liquid foundation, putting translucent powder over it, doing the little, contour highlight blush, and then setting spray it up. I think that
Yeah.
is what I've found to be most secure over the years. If
Yeah.
you want to add anything, Kristen, feel free.
Yeah. Well, I think a primer is a great one too. If you have
Mhm.
oilier skin and you're worried about your makeup kind of breaking up, like a silicone based, just smoothing primer that's gonna like mattify your skin is probably your best friend. When I used to have oily skin in my youth, that's what I would use, and it worked really well. And the under eye concealer too. I think if you're a foundation person or not, even if you're just kind of like a tinted moisturizer person, I personally don't wear liquid foundation really at all anymore, but I always do wear like an under eye concealer because it's just going to make you look and feel more awake. Yeah, I think a good primer, some good under eye concealer that's going to be really brightening, and then that translucent powder to set everything and a setting spray at the end. And I would recommend covering your eyes when you do your setting spray. So it just gets on like your forehead, cheeks, chin, and nose area because you don't want that to like sort of mess with any eyeshadow you put on or like break up your mascara at all. So
There you go. Y'all have been asking. There's the answer.
there it is.
My last item that I have to share, but this was a joint item for both of us,
Yes.
is
Independently came
independently,
up with
we've both thought
it.
of this.
Yes.
It's the handy dandy peppermint oil.
Ah,
And there are so many reasons why we
so
both
many.
recommend peppermint oil. We both love essential oils, Kristen especially. She's an essential oil enthusiast. And I've definitely grown to love them more. But peppermint oil, you've heard me talk about it before. It is my lifesaver. It
Yeah.
truly is. And I know that's like a crazy thing to say, but it is the one thing that I have in my purse at all times. And at Disney specifically, it is going to be the best tool that you could bring for many reasons. Number one, we've been talking a lot about heat. Peppermint oil has a very cooling feel to it. So if you put it on the back of your neck, it's going to cool you down. If you put it anywhere on you, it's going to, on your temples, on your forehead, it has a cooling sensation. So that is going to feel really good in the heat. Um, Additionally, I've mentioned this before, but if you are someone who has anxiety, it is one of the things that can calm me down if I feel a lot of anxiety coming on, I put it right under my nose and smell it. And for some reason, I think my brain focuses on the smell so much, since it is quite strong, that it calms down my anxiety that I'm feeling at that moment. So highly recommend it for that. And then also, if you have any sort of, motion sickness, or you ate something that isn't sitting right, or any sort of stomach type feeling, nausea, whatever, it is great for calming down nausea. It's helped me through intense stomach issues over the years, and I swear by peppermint oil. I think it's the greatest thing ever. It has genuinely helped me in my everyday life.
You'd think I was in church praising the Lord right now for the amount of times I've like waved my hands in the air at everything she's saying. You guys, if you buy one essential oil, just one in your lifetime, peppermint is the multi-purpose, like badass, can-do attitude oil for all the reasons just mentioned, and probably so many more that we don't even know. I think as someone who tends to have a weaker stomach, sometimes theme park food can not go so well for me. And theme park food combined with the heat, combined with the motion sickness that I tend to experience on some rides, and I know many of you do as well, peppermint oil is amazing for that. I literally rub it on my stomach. If I have a headache, I find that putting a little bit and massaging it into my temples helps a lot, right behind your earlobes, on that area where your lymph nodes are. Massaging it into there, if you just feel like you need, to calm down if you're having anxiety, I find that that's really helpful there. Another headache one that I do is just a drop right on the center of my forehead, or a drop on the roof of my mouth, and you hold it there with a clean finger. Please wash your hands before you do this if you're in the parks. With a clean finger, take a drop of it, hold it to the roof of your mouth for like 15 to 20 seconds, and just your whole head cools down, and it feels amazing. I'm telling you, I have cured so many people's headaches and migraines with just that. The last one too, if you are overheated and you need to cool down, as someone who has had heat stroke and passed out on the monorail before.
Oh God.
Your pressure points, the inside of your wrists, that place I told you behind your earlobes is great for this too, but the inside of your wrists, and then the inside of your elbows, if you take like a drop there on each one and then rub it like between your elbows and between your wrists, it just does wonders for cooling you down, for easing your stomach, easing your anxiety, easing your headache. It's a warrior, and you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say my only disclaimer is, do make sure to wash your hands before you touch if you are going to touch your eyes, like you do not want to get peppermint in your eyes, because it really does not feel good at all.
That's true. Also, just wash your hands before you use it if you're going to touch your face or like the roof of your mouth trick at all. Please wash your hands first.
We are all about cleanliness here on ReDIScover. So
speaking of cleanliness,
that just brings me to my next one, Jess. I have a couple.
Impeccable.
I know, these segues are amazing. I have a couple more. I know your list is done, but I had like a couple little last minute ones. And this is actually one that Jess and I agreed on, because as soon as I brought it up, she was like, oh my gosh, yes. And I know you've done this before, because I think it was in November.
Yes.
We were staying at Coronado Springs, and you brought this, and I was like, oh my gosh, someone who's as crazy as I am about this thing.
This is one of my favorite travel tips. This one's not just for Disney. This is for any hotel stay.
Yeah, any hotel stay, but also the Disney resorts. So when you stay at a Disney resort, a lot of the little toiletries and things are provided, and some of them are great. Like, I love the H2O line. I think the lotion is great. The body wash smells amazing. But as far as hand soap, they offer you a bar of soap. Now, you could always use the body wash if you're not a bar soap person, but Jess and I are really not bar soap people. I know it's more sustainable for the environment. I'm bringing my reusable straw. doing everything I can, but I just can't get on board with the bar soap. It gets caught in like my rings that I always wear, and it gets stuck and cakey. It leaves like a weird like feeling on your hands, and
I don't
it
feel
just,
clean.
yes, and it just does not feel like I'm getting my hands clean. Bringing a little thing of liquid hand soap with you, I think is a game changer, and it just makes your process faster, in my opinion. You don't have to like lather the bar soap up for 20 seconds while you're wasting water. I just think it's one of those things that people forget until they get there and they're like, ugh, bar soap, annoying. And then you're like, I wish I would have brought my own soap. So this is us reminding you, if you're about to be packing for your Disney trip, or if you're listening to this while you're packing, go grab some liquid hand soap and thank us later.
Yeah. And you can get it for $2 at the drugstore.
Yeah.
And honestly, I will buy liquid hand soap and pack it with me. And then even if I don't use it all, sometimes I'll just like ditch it at the end of the trip because, once it's open, you don't want it to go all over your bag. Definitely pack it in a Ziploc bag.
Which I think is try to find a smaller one or like a travel size one.
Always bag your toiletries. That's my other tip. Ziplocs or reusable plastic bags or whatever works for you. Always bag your toiletries.
I use like the Ziploc freezer bags that are like super thick.
Yep, me too.
And they fit a lot. And I've been doing that literally my entire life. And it works because sometimes I have had things spill before and they've spilled and it's annoying, but it's only spilled in that bag and it hasn't gotten over my clothes and everything because of that. So yeah, that's a great tip. My last little thing,
just added one on the fly.
Yeah. My last little thing to bring with you. And this is something you can keep in your room and then just like grab one every day and throw it in your bag, is granola bars, or my personal preference, like a protein bar. I love RX bars, the brand RX, because they have literally like 4 ingredients. Sometimes you're waiting in a line that's longer than you thought it was going to be. And sometimes the ride breaks down and you stay in line to see if it comes back up again. Sometimes you're waiting for a show and you're waiting for a long time and you're having like lunch or dinner in a couple hours, but you're sort of like, I want something to tide me over. And if you don't have one of these with you, you might go for the pretzel or the churro or something like that. And that's great. And hey, live it up. You're on vacation. But for me, eating like a lot of empty carbs and sweets all day doesn't leave me feeling great by the evening time. And it sort of makes my vacation less enjoyable because my stomach is upset or I'm feeling, just really tired from not having proper nutrition. So it's a good way to keep something with you that, won't spoil in the heat and will give you some protein and like fiber and healthy fats. And they're really small and easy to throw in your bag. And you can just keep the box in the room and grab a new one every morning.
Mine aren't going to be as healthy as Kristen's, but I like the Nature's Bakery little fig bars or like peanut butter crackers for a little protein. So anything that'll help sustain your energy, I think is great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. So I think that about wraps up all of our top must bring items to Walt Disney World and, to Disneyland too. I don't see any harm in bringing these over to California as well. I hope that this was really helpful to all of you and maybe it inspired some new ideas of things that you can bring to just make your trips more efficient and comfortable and smooth sailing.
Yeah, I think we honestly could think of a dozen other things, but really these are the ones that jumped out to us as most useful, and also the things you might not think about. Like some things seem obvious, but you might not think to bring it because of the forecast or the season or some other factor. But I think we're both of the better safe than sorry school of thought, and there are a couple. That peppermint oil, you guys, if you get anything on this list, get the peppermint oil. But
DM us if you get peppermint oil, or take a picture and put it on your Insta story, because we hope that this inspires you. It's truly been life-changing for us.
I feel like
not sponsored, just truly genuinely.
Well, we didn't name a brand. We didn't even name a brand.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just sponsored by a plant. I feel like if this were Candyland, there's like Queen Frostine, and like all the different like royalty of different candies. Like Jess and I are like the princesses of peppermint.
Yeah,
or
I
something.
love it.
Because we just use it that much. But we hope that if you've got a Disney trip coming up, that this has helped you, or if you're listening to this, you're like, oh, got to remember to grab that. If you're packing for Disney while you're listening to this, which I think is the best way to listen, we're so excited for you. We hope you have a great trip, and we hope it's even better because you have these things in your Disney parks arsenal. But if you know somebody who's coming to Disney soon, especially if you are kind of a Disney veteran and that's how you know us and listen to this podcast, but you have a family member or a coworker or a friend who's coming to Disney for the first time soon, please share this episode with them, because I wish somebody would have shared this episode with me when I was younger. So share this episode with them, help them out. Buy them peppermint oil for their birthday. And we just, I mean, I'm just so enjoying this month of talking about like all the different nuances of travel. It's making me very excited.
It's making my soul feel alive again.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys are all feeling the same. I know we're not totally out of the woods yet with everything going on, but there's so much hope and optimism, I think, that's sparking.
August slipped away like a moment in time, you guys.
That's crazy.
And this month is slipping away like a moment in time because we are just having so much fun. And you know what happens when you're having fun? Time flies. So on that note, if you love what you're hearing, come back next Tuesday at 8 a.m. or whenever after next Tuesday at 8 a.m. that you have time to listen. And we're gonna talk about travel a little more. We're gonna dive into a little bit of a broader topic, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it very much.
Well, until next time, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of ReDIScover.
Please subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening. Your reviews are what keep us going, and we'd love to hear from you.
Join us every Tuesday for a new conversation, and let us know what you think we should talk about next.
Follow us on Instagram at positively.kristen and at jessicafay508. And check out Jess's blog at theroadjesstraveled with 1l.com.
Until next time,
Stay frumpy.